Hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And my guest today has been one of the great voices in metal for nearly 30 years. He's fronted the mighty Judas Priest and appeared on albums from Yngwie Malmsteen, Iced Earth, Charred Walls of the Damned, and others. He's about to release the debut record with his new project with former Judas Priest guitarist KK Downing, called KK's Priest. The record is called Sermons of the Sinner, and my guest today is none other than Tim Ripper Owens. Welcome, Ripper.
Oh, listen, I'm walking around. I'm going to get in a comfortable spot for you. I was having some interference out there, so I'm going to go into my studio and sit in here. I am ready. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, man. Good to be here. Good to be here for sure.
So let's get right into this. I mean, KK's Priest, the record is Sermons of the Sinner, and it's out October 1st. But let's go back to the beginning of the project. After your time in Priest ended, did you and KK keep in touch? How did this project come about?
We did keep in touch, I kept in touch with all the band, mm-hmm. and but Ken and I especially did, because I would do a lot of solo shows touring through England, and I got a great band from Ireland called Sandstone that backs me up, and we did great tours, and Ken would always come out. KK would always come out to the shows, and most of the time it was about 2 hours away from where he lived, but he always drove out, would bring some friends with him and hang out, and it was always a good time. So it was out of all the band members, Ken and I stayed in contact the most.
And now, as the band was coming together and played some early shows, you had a bit of a different lineup. Of former Judas Priest drummer Les Binks was involved. Former Megadeth bassist Dave Ellefson was involved. Were those early shows more of a test to see if he really wanted to come back and do this, or did you guys know from the beginning that this was going to be an ongoing band?
No, I don't think it was a test at all. I think he just wanted to jam. I think, he jammed before that at Bloodstock with, I can't remember who he jammed with that one with.
Was that with the Dictators?
Ross the Boss. Yeah, he played with Ross the Boss. But I think what happened this one was David was playing KK's venue. And then he asked KK, "You want to come up and jam with us?" And he said, yes. And then somebody said, "You should get Ripper to come." And then they got me to come, and then Les got involved, and then AJ come aboard, and it just kind of became a jam thing. I think after that he really got the fever to play again, because we had a great set list. Not only stuff from Jugular and Demolition, we did songs like Before the Dawn, which Ken said he doesn't think he's ever played Before the Dawn live. So he was like, "Man, this is pretty awesome." And then I think after that, when he realized he wasn't going to do the 50th anniversary show, I think he was like, "Yeah, I think it's time to do something."
And as it came together and the name of the band was released, of course, people are always going to find controversy in everything. Some people thought it was too derivative of Judas Priest. Others said, well, he's the guy that started it all. He has full right to use the name. Did any of that even bother you guys at all? Or was it, no, this is the name that fits us, we're going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more I got to worry about in life than the name KK's Priest. I mean, here's the whole thing. People's like, first of all, it's not called Judas Priest. I don't understand why people say there's another Judas Priest. It's not called Judas Priest. I mean, it's not like you have two Great Whites or you have two this band or that band. It's not. It's called KK's Priest. I mean, I don't understand. I get it. Listen, is it the absolute best name in the world? Probably not, but I mean, there's bands out there named after diseases like anthrax. I mean, I think it's, and that's probably one of my favorite names of a band ever. And it's named after a disease, which I guess my next band I'm going to call is going to be called COVID, I guess. So I can, but I got more to worry about than I get it why people don't, but I think it's funny when somebody says, I'm not going to listen to it because I don't like the name, or Les Binks isn't involved now. I'm just like, you guys, it's like I feel like we should get KK's Priest pacifiers and hand out to the crowd nowadays, because, well, I guess these people won't be there, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Listen, I get it. People don't like the name. People don't like names. They didn't, but it's not Judas Priest.
Right.
And KK Downing was an original founding member of Judas Priest, which there's one left. And he's got the right to try and connect the dots without making it called Judas Priest. I mean, I don't think Ken was over the moon with his name being in. I think maybe he would have been fine with it just called Priest. I think at first he was kind of like, man, I don't want my name on it. But, listen, you got to deal with labels and management. I don't think KK came up with the name as much as, he was part of it, but I think the management was going to be the one pushing for things because they got to market the band now. We're not looking for a 20-year career. I mean, KK's 70 and I'm in my mid 50s. It's not, I mean, I'll take a 20-year career, but we got to hit it right now.
That's why I think you guys, as you said earlier, you fall victim to the fact that there are two of so many bands out there that people don't bother listening to what your actual name is and just lump you in with, oh, it's a competing Judas Priest. And it's not. It's an entirely different entity.
Yeah. And then people say, well, these songs kind of sound like Judas Priest. It's because he wrote songs for Judas Priest. You know what Judas Priest these songs don't sound like? The last couple of records.
Yes.
Okay, because KK's not there any longer. The last record, if it didn't have Rob Halford singing, would it even sound like a Judas Priest record? No. But I mean, obviously you got the Metal God singing, so it's going to sound like it. But I mean, KK's was the driving force in songwriting, as everyone can even tell even more now. And it's KK Downing. I mean, listen, I say KK can do whatever he wants.
Yep. And speaking of writing, how were the songs on this record written? Did you write with KK or did he handle it? How did you guys split that up?
Well, he did it more on this one because he'd already started. Once he got the idea, he started writing stuff. And I think this is a statement record for him. I think he was like, listen, from what it sounds like in the interviews and in the book, I think, and talking to Ken, he was getting less and less of his ideas thrown in there, and I think he wanted to put olden days when you listen to those earlier records, and he wanted to do this. I think it was a statement for him coming out of the gate. Obviously, it was written for me to sing, and it was Ken's ideas that he really wanted to do it. I mean, he was in the studio. He was all like, change whatever, do whatever you want, but I tried to really keep it on the same path that he was writing in the first place.
Yes. And the songs that are out so far, the 3 singles, have that classic old school metal feel. And, it really does hit that mark. And that really does seem to be making a comeback too. I mean, you look at vocalists like Todd LaTorre and James Durbin and Wade Black will all have records out with that style. And that's your wheelhouse. I mean, you're the top when it comes to that style. So as you were putting the record together, I mean, did you kind of feel like that old school metal is really starting to make a comeback again and people are listening to it as opposed to the screaming vocal and things like that?
Well, I think it was just do whatever. I mean, Ken's lucky, and he knows when he works with me, I can sing anything and he wants me to sing, whether it's a Sepultura kind of a thing or Pantera, or, if there's a death metal or clean vocals or raspy vocals, I'm going to be able to do anything. And I think that's the big key. I think the good thing about this record is the high notes, the most high notes are probably on the first couple songs we released. We came out of the gate saying this here, we'll give you the extreme right away. Hellfire, Thunderbolt, and Sermons of the Sinner are definitely the heaviest and straightforward. Then we have Brothers of the Road and Raise Your Fist, which are more of the straightforward rock kind of songs. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to do things that the fans would like. we're out there to get new fans, but we need to get new fans that like this kind of music. We're not going to go, get someone who doesn't want this. Right. We have to make, and we can't reinvent the wheel. This is what we do. I can do different forms of this kind of music. I mean, I released A New Revenge, and it was like a hard rock kind of record, which is one of my favorites I've released. But I'm still singing the same. It just has different melodies. Yeah. But yeah, our approach to this was we just have to make ourselves happy and the fans happy. We can't reinvent anything at this age.
And you mentioned how this was sort of a statement record for KK to show that, he still has it and that he was the driving force behind a lot of those songs. So after you guys played some live shows where, you did pull out a lot of Judas Priest classics that, as you said, may never have been played live before, was it important to you guys to hit the studio quickly so that you weren't seen as a cover band, that you're seen as a new original band as well?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think, because listen, after we did that show, we had offers to do everything. Cruises and festivals, and I mean, big money offers were rolling in like crazy, and Ken said no. We got to put a record out. And I'll tell you, even that's all he talks about. It's funny because we were just texting back and forth last night, and I was saying, let's do Never Satisfied. I want to do, you wrote it with Al, so we got Al Atkins and KK down writing a song, and we're doing it. Maybe we can get Al out on tour with us, or he can get in the studio and do it. I'm just excited to do some of these old stuff. So, but his thing is, we have to play the record. We have to release this record and play the record. We were talking about, hey, let's say we go open for somebody on a big tour. What are we going to play? And he's like, well, we're playing all the songs off the record. I'm like, Ken, we got to do something else, So he just wants to do that. Before the Dawn, I would love to keep in the set. We did Take on the World. I think doing some things off of rock roll, like Never Satisfied, maybe Winter or whatever, I think is a no-brainer for us to do,
And, you mentioned playing live. Have you guys thought at all, I mean, assuming the world does clear up at some point, you can hit the road, have you thought at all about what that tour is going to look like? Are you guys looking to lock on with somebody and open a big tour? You're going to do some headline dates, a mix of both?
Yeah, I think whatever's best. Thing is, it's not going to be a small stage, it's got to be good venues, big stages, big production. Ken's not, listen, there's no way he's going up there and playing small stuff. And I can do that all year long solo. So there's no reason. I want to do something big as well with this. It has to be big. So yeah, co-headlining events, supporting big tours of bands, whoever it may be. I don't even know what it would be, but that would be a perfect scenario to go out with and do some of these big arenas and big things with some tours like that, big sheds. But we're gonna, it's hard. It's a hard situation right now to even book anything. We're trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And that's up to management. I can tour right now. November, I'm probably going to be touring, or I am as of now, in America with the Three Tremors. We're going to do an America tour.
Oh, really?
But see, we can do that because we're playing smaller venues, right? We're playing, the Empires in Akron and different things like that. So we can hit these kind of places. KK's, it's got to be planned way in advance. And so, who knows what's going on with the COVID thing? We never know. Pretty soon we'll probably have to stick some kind of flashing light in our butthole to walk around and make sure we're showing everybody that we did this, that, and the other. And I'm vaccinated, but I myself call myself a super spreader because I feel like us vaccinated people are out there spreading this thing around like it's crazy, We're allowed to do everything. And actually, we're probably the ones, obviously the unvaccinated people are going to be getting sicker, but we're going to be spreading it like crazy. But there's a point where you're going to have to start doing things. We can't live in the dark. We have, people have to go by rules. People have to you know, they're gonna have to do stuff and we want to get out and tour. So listen, that's why I got vaccinated. I'm all for wearing a mask. I'll do anything to go out there and rock all over America and the world again.
And now, speaking of all the restrictions going on with COVID, have you guys been able to get in a room and play anytime recently, or are you all on different continents?
Well, we did once. We did once. A couple months ago, I flew to England, and Sean flew from San Diego to England to record 2 of the videos. We were able to record. You still there? There you go,
yep,
brother. We were able to record Brothers of the Road and Raise Your Fist. So we finally were able to get together, and it wasn't that difficult to, England's a lot stricter than America. You had to get tested 3 days before you went. You had to get tested 2 days while you were there and then get tested before you come back and fill out a bunch of paperwork. But, it wasn't overly difficult. And, so hopefully we'll be able to, to get it going on.
Yeah, and a little earlier, you mentioned the 50th anniversary of Judas Priest, and they're going to be starting that tour up shortly. And KK's been really vocal through his book and interviews after about his thoughts on the band and, kind of being excluded thus far from the celebration. Do you see any scenario, is you're the guy that's in touch with both sides of kind of bridging a gap and having everybody from Judas Priest involved in something, or is it just kind of a lost cause at this point?
I really don't know. I mean, listen, I love Judas Priest, but this is the same camp that threatened me for a promoter using the Jugulator cover for a flyer. I mean, I didn't make so this is, when management threatens me for that, making a tour flyer with the Jugulator cover. I mean, I really don't know what's going to happen. He said what he said, should he have said it? I don't know. And I don't care. I mean, the problem is truth's hurt when you say things that are truthful, especially nowadays on social media. Look what happens. I mean, you say something's truthful, next thing you know, you're called every kind of name in the world. I think it's silly though. I think it's silly they're doing a 30th or 50th anniversary and Jesus, it's gonna be 30th anniversary for me pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think it sucks that he's not involved. I gotta be honest, if he called me tomorrow and said I can't do KK's Priest because I'm going to do the 50th Judas Priest tour, I would be at the shows. I mean, I think it's fantastic. It would be fantastic. So, and then they'd call me and say I could do it too.
Well, again, that from a fan perspective, that's what we want to see, both of you guys there and everyone, at least for one show, but we can dream.
Yeah.
And, I mentioned in the intro too that you've done a lot of other projects since Judas Priest leading up to KK's Priest. And one of my favorite records of the period was Glorious Burden from Iced Earth. Any thoughts on just the situation John Schaefer finds himself in now? Have you had any contact with him recently or anything like that?
No, I didn't have contact before. It's funny, everybody come out work and said Tim's just like John or blah blah blah. It's like, listen, he kicked me out of the band 5 days before Christmas. I don't hate the guy. I don't burn but it's not like we talked. Listen, John messed up and he'll pay the price. Everybody knows my belief on riots that are still going on in Portland and all over America all the time that everybody still seems to think are fine. Time you break the law and you riot or have a unpeaceful protest, it's wrong. I don't care who you are and what you are. It's wrong. And it's funny how we still talk about January 6th all the time, but we don't talk about everything that's still going on in America nonstop. I mean, Portland's a fucking train wreck. And it's, they took over city blocks and we act like it's fine. It's all wrong. And John was wrong like everybody else is. He's just as wrong as the people burning down mom and pop stores in Baltimore. they all put them in the same category. You're breaking the law. You're breaking the law. That's what I look at. And when anybody sticks up for any side, I think they're breaking the law. Listen, John could have stood outside and protested all he wanted. That's fine. Stand outside and protest all you want. Once you guys go inside and once you do things, you've broke the law. And, that's just the way it is. And John did something wrong, and he'll pay the price forever for it, But still, you know what? People are still buying his records, so he'll still be able to have his big house and his cars. I mean, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah. Well, we've been spending some time here with Tim Ripper Owens. The new band is called KK's Priest. The record is Sermons of the Sinner. It's out everywhere October 1st. The songs we've heard so far have been amazing. Can't wait to catch you on the road with KK's Priest and the Three Tremors tour in America. Hopefully, once you hit over here on the East Coast, we could check you out and say hello in person. Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you, and I look forward to being able to do it again soon.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon. Spread the word on KK's Priest. Spread the word on if we do the Three Tremors tour, and we'll see you soon. I get out there, I'll see you soon, and we'll grab a coffee and hang out.
You got it, my friend. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep. Bye.